intro off.
The first season of the Sunday SITREP. It's not just a tournament, it's a brotherhood.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the 17th episode of the Armed Forces Fishing League's podcast, the Sunday Sit Rep. What's going on, Nick?
What's going on? Just fighting this cold up here in the cold.
Yeah, it's cold. Man, that stuff sneaking down here south, Bo. It's been cold and miserable, and this 40 degrees sucks. I'm just kidding. It's been colder than that. We've had some 20 degrees. Yeah, no, we've had some 20-degree nights, a couple of days where the 40s are high, and the wind, Bo. I don't mind, 20, 30 degrees, but when it's 20, 30 degrees, 10, 15 mile an hour, 20 mile an hour winds, miserable.
Oh, yeah.
I can't stand it.
No.
There's two kinds of people in this world. There's the people that like the hot and the people that like the cold. And I always hear people say, well, you can always put on more clothes in the cold. You know what? I'm not one of those people. I can jump in the lake when it's hot. I can put on more clothes, sure, but then it's sitting there like all stuck like this. I've got hand warmers taped to my body, but I've got $700 worth of layers on. Versus, you know what? It's hot outside. I can just go jump in the lake or run my boat down the lake or whatever and get a breeze. So, you cold people are crazy. I'm sorry.
I'm not a big fan of it either, but I got to make the best out of it, which is why I'm probably gonna take up ice fishing. I used to do it, and then I lost it.
I think
I got to get back into it.
I would
do something. Man. I can't sit in the house for 6 months.
No, you go crazy. I don't know how y'all do it up there. You have to have something to keep you going, keep you motivated. Looking at something new. Man, I would be interested to ice fish. I will try it one time. That's my MO. One time I'll ice fish.
Some people are crazy.
I know, they sit out there for weeks. Like,
not only that, but they go out on like a couple inches of ice. That's no.
I'm
not doing it.
See, I'm scared. Like last year, my fishing partner here, Lonnie, he's from Minnesota, and like he shared a picture or something, and not too far from where he was on a lake, on the other side of the lake, a Duramax like went through the ice. And yeah, that stuff terrifies me. I don't know.
I think we're on track to have some good ice this year. Like the last couple winters we've had were pretty mild. Like right through December, it was still, I don't know, probably in the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
This year we're actually getting a winter, which is why I'm willing to get into ice fishing.
Right.
But yeah, we'll see. I'll send you some pictures, and if you want to make a trip up, let me know.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm really not against that. Yeah.
Melissa's not wrong.
What happened? I'm not on that page that ice fishing. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, like some of the ones I see on Facebook and stuff, people have like whole giant campers and they lower them down and drill holes to it, and it's basically
crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down for something like that.
On the big lake up here, Winnipesaukee, they do an ice fishing derby every year, and it's like a town on the ice. They have food vendors and all the different huts, like everything. It's crazy.
That'd be crazy. I'd just wanting to be out there doing donuts. My old redneck kid side still coming out, just out there doing donuts in a truck, heating up the ice until I fall through or something stupid. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh man, wood burning stoves, Melissa, are my favorite thing. I love wood burning stoves. There ain't nothing like that.
In the
smell.
ice huts is what she's talking about.
Oh, in the ice huts. I missed it. I thought you were saying and. I misread that. Yeah, that would freak me out too. You're heating up what you're sitting on. I don't know. I don't know.
You know what freaks me out is when you're on the ice and like snowmobiles or cars or whatever go by you and you feel like the stress cracks. Like you'll see like a big crack go down the ice, but it's not. You're still good. It's just freaky.
No, I don't know if I trust that. That would freak
Yeah.
me out.
Yeah.
That would definitely freak me out. But well, all right, y'all. We today's episode is not about ice fishing. If you were starting to think of that, it is not. We're actually talking about North Carolina. Don't believe they get to do too much ice fishing up there. But
Sounds like they might.
I don't know. Yeah. No, it's been cold. I don't know what it's been like for them. It's been cold enough down here to make me want to move further south. So, it might be pretty nasty depending on what part of North Carolina. I'm sure the mountains are cold right now.
Oh yeah.
It's not the whole state, but yeah, we're gonna talk North Carolina with our North Carolina Director, John Shirley. We're gonna go over a couple of the upcoming events, and then we just had our guys out there on the team championship. You want to talk a little bit about that, Nick?
Yeah, they Jeremiah Jensen and Gage Spagnola. Did I say that right?
Yeah. I'm gonna pull up their actual place. I thought I had it up and I do not. It's not showing me.
They went down there. They fished the whole, practice the whole week there, just about the whole week, and it was tough from what we heard. They, they told me when they took off in the morning, it was in the 20s. They had snow, wind, extremely high wind. They said they were battling 5-6 foot rollers. It was a struggle, and they fished day one. Do you have the result from day one?
It says not available. I don't know why. It started to pull. It shows the classic fish off, so the last 2 days. But oh, here it is. Full field standings. Oops, page can't be found. I don't know what's wrong with Bass's website, but it's not pulling it up.
I think they had like 2 fish for 3 something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Bass Tracks. Oh, Bass Tracks is cleared out too. Huh.
But they had 2 fish for 3 something, and I think they were like halfway down the pack after day one. There was 250 boats, or right around 250 boats, and they finished halfway down, which says something. That's
right.
To be halfway down with 2 fish and 3 pounds is, it was a tough fight for sure. And then they got notification that they were going to postpone day 2. So they contacted Austin and myself and basically just said they were so far out of the money, which I understood. They'd have to rent get the hotel for an extra day, take extra day off of work, be away from the family. So they just packed it up and head home after day one. When they called, I told them I would have been already halfway home.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, they were.
And those two. I mean, for those 2 guys, they're good. They are good anglers, and for them to go down there and have that happen, I mean, that just tells you, you're up against some stiff competition at that team championship. So I mean, my hat's off to them. They drove all the way there. They stuck it out all through practice. Battle it out on day one. And I don't blame them, man. It's tough to take work off. That's the side of the business that people don't see, being away from work and family and stuff. So my hat's off to them. I think they did a great job there. So
absolutely. When they told me it was snowing, the wind was blowing 25 miles an hour out of the north, and they were taking 5-foot rollers over the back of the boat all at the same time. And they couldn't get anywhere they needed to get. Everything they practiced. Gage was telling me this morning at church that they like blinked their eyes and they were from 25 into 0 feet and washed up on a shoal. It was just a nightmare for them, weather-wise, and they were set up on he said they were set up on stuff that should have, in those conditions, produced fish. They had to abandon a lot of their game plan, and when they got on the stuff that should have produced some fish, it didn't happen for them. The guys that won, from what I heard, was they were out there. They were out there on the main channel fishing the current breaks, and how, depending on how the current was coming around, on them little, I'm sure, outcroppings, points, underwater ledge points, stuff like that, offshore stuff, live scoping is what I heard. I don't know how true that is, but we'll see. We'll see how
It's
it goes.
tough, man. I mean, especially in a tournament like that where you're going against the top teams from around the country. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah.
And they told me that they couldn't even get to the stuff that they practice on because of the conditions.
Right, the wind.
They couldn't run.
So, and I know they had. Yeah, they spent a lot. I won't say what they spent, but they spent a good deal on gas in the boat. And I know they had some good juice ready to rock. Jeremiah and Gage are absolute stout guys. Stout fishermen. So, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, great job, guys. If you're watching, seriously,
absolutely.
They said the whole "sorry we let you down" thing. You didn't let anybody down, man. You represented the league out there and traveled all the way out there, showed up, and put fish in the boat when half the field didn't after the first day. So I think you did great.
Absolutely. But yeah, other than that, we don't have any other results right now to report on. We do have an upcoming tournament, 14 December 2024, Louisiana Cross Lake. The director is posting up here, going to be good weather next weekend. So all you Louisiana boys, anybody from Texas or around the surrounding area, jump over there and get up on Cross Lake, hit up Zach, and y'all go catch some fish. If you're not tracking already, that is the Low McFarland American Legion post number 14 benefit tournament, $100 entry fee, 85% payout, and all the proceeds go to the Legion. So hit up Zach right here in the comments, holler at him, and get signed up for that derby next weekend. Excited to see how that goes down in Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, Bobby, exactly. They were the dudes here in South Carolina, to say the least. They're catching them. But real quick before we bring our guest in, I didn't do the giveaway announcement. Please make sure you guys are. It looks like a bunch of people already have, but go ahead, like, share, and comment hashtag #TheSitRep for your chance to win a T-shirt and some barbecue sauce. And please get over and subscribe to our YouTube channel, just Armed Forces Fishing on YouTube as well. Coming along, it's got 42 subscribers.
I saw that the other day.
Yeah, it kind of randomly just getting a few here and there, but big push from you guys. All you guys watch on Facebook. But go give us a subscribe. Maybe give us a watch every once in a while on YouTube instead, just to help us build our algorithm on that end. Either way, not asking for too much. You don't have to if you don't want to. Just if you think about it.
Coming to Illinois. We're in just about every state around here right now. We're working on it. Our goal is to hit, anywhere we can in the continental U.S.
Right.
So we're getting there. Again, funding is a big part of it. We can only bring on as many states as the funding allows at the time, because it does cost money to set each state up. But if you are interested, we need a director. That's the first step in any state. So if you yourself or anybody that would be interested in that, just have them reach out to the page, and we'll send them we do a questionnaire, and then we can kind of get the ball rolling from there and come up with a time frame and whatnot to get you guys on board. But it's a process. We'll get there.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, he's rocking the beard.
I'm trying. It's I don't know. We're getting.
I think it looks great. I'm digging it. Absolute stud over here. I didn't realize
how many grays I have until it started coming out, but
I hear you.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I don't really have anything else before we bring our guest in. Do you have anything for him? For anybody?
No, I'm good.
All right, well, we'll bring in John now.
All
What's
right.
going on, man?
Good evening from the great state of North Carolina.
Good evening. Good
Speaking of
evening.
gray beer,
I was about to say it, Nick. I don't want to hear anything about gray beer.
Oh, your friend, my Kentucky man is calling you out there. Oh, I missed it.
yeah,
We
looks
double
good for a
clicked it.
yank. Yeah.
Hey, Todd, that's my Kentucky man right there. I love that man. Spoken like a true Kentuckian.
Yeah, I hear it all the time.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't let me forget.
Right. But yeah, what's up, John?
Oh, it's like I said, beautiful evening in North Carolina. Been looking forward to doing this to get on here and talk about the upcoming year for North Carolina. I mean, I'll be honest, we had a tough year last year. One of our teams at the national championship actually finished third at our national championship, so that was a good showing for us. But I think we've got a good solid schedule this year, and through Facebook, I've seen a lot of interest. But the one thing I want to do a shout out is those that are watching in North Carolina, if there are any, start signing up. We got to get the membership up. Want to get some get this going. I know there's a lot of good anglers here. I've talked with a gentleman by the name of Tim Cantwell. He's a retired sergeant major, and he's definitely going to help get the word out. He's up there near, I'm going to call it Fort Bragg because I can't do Liberty. But it's just, that's going to be the thing, I think, is helping get the word out through the, veteran and military side here in North Carolina, because like I said, last year was a bit tough.
Yeah. I mean, you get all that interest, and, people always ask, like, how many boats are showing up? Show up. Just come out and come see what we're all about.
Yeah,
that's the only way that we're going to build the brotherhood in North Carolina, is if people come out.
Well, I mean, that's exactly how I started. I was pretty new to the state at the time. Was looking to dip my toe back into the competitive fishing world, and stumbled across you guys. And Tyler Painter was the director year one, and I fished. We had 4 events that year, and I fished all 4 events, and that's kind of how I got started. And then Tyler couldn't, continue on as the director, and I kind of took it on late last year, which I think had some of the reasons why we had such a tough year. But like I said, I'm looking forward to a good one. Got a great schedule. We're fishing the same lakes again this year that we did last year, but we're gonna add in what is it? Sorry here. We're adding in Tillery and Gaston to the mix this year. We're going to fish Tillery first. So that's going to be in first of February. So also, I don't know if you're going before me or not, but I think we may have the first one of the year come out of the gate on 1 February.
I think so.
Louisiana. I think Louisiana's got a January.
I was thinking about, I have to really shape mine up now, because I have my first 2 are conflicts. I had, so the CBC championship, I was looking at the 2025 championship, not the 2024, which rolls over. So that's a conflict on my first event scheduled. And then the second event schedule is on Santee at the same time as the MPFL, which obviously I can't do that. So, my whole thing's a mess. I'm going to have it fixed. Stat.
Well, I had a few of that. I had to change up some of mine, which is why I've got a couple of months that I've got 2 running because of that. And by the way, David, it's not snowing in North Carolina. That's just gray, just like you.
There's a lot of heat coming in here real quick. Comment sections.
Like
yeah, a little hot.
Yeah, there's my wife, by the way, doing that last one.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, Mr. Bobby Edwards, Kentucky would be 2 steps above Alabama, so that shows the Maryland boy education level. But oh man, the heat is moving through the comments so far. I love it.
Aaron, we've had interest in both states. Just the hard part's getting a director. So if you know anybody, like we said before, just reach out to the page.
Absolutely.
But John, let's learn a little about you. and we'll go
my
over
bad.
Your schedule too. Yeah.
I jumped the gun. We can come
Let's
back to
talk
that.
about your military background a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm an Army veteran, served from 1987 to 1995. Also a first Gulf War veteran. Was a chemical reconnaissance for the first 5 years of my career. And then it was the same unit, but I was in 4-6 infantry at Fort Polk, and then 2-7 Cav at Fort Hood at the end of my career as the NBC NCO there. Spent just a little bit of time in 2-7 as the battalion NBC NCO, but I decided to take a different career path in '95 and went out in the civilian side to see how I could survive there. And that point, a couple of years later, I went overseas as a military contractor, and I spent more time in Iraq and Afghanistan as a civilian than I did in the Army. So I was there for 12 years as a civilian contractor.
What'd you do on the contractor side?
So I started in the Balkans in '99 as a carpenter, and I worked my way up to when I left, I was actually the liaison for my company to the government. But prior to that, they had asked me to take on that role. Prior to that, I was the regional director for the South for DynCorp. And we did everything and anything that was needed to be done. And I mean, to try to run down the list of all the stuff we did, it's almost the only thing we didn't do was fight.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
We took our rockets and stray bullets here and there, just like, those on the FOBs, but we just didn't, that wouldn't give us weapons. And that's probably a good thing in a lot of cases.
Yeah. Dave's my guy.
We're talking about actual branches. We're talking about actual branches of the military tonight.
Well, you gotta keep a couple Air Force guys around to keep things level. If it was all Army and Marines and Navy, I mean, this thing would have tanked by now. A couple Air Force guys are helping us stay afloat.
Wouldn't we need Navy to keep us afloat?
Well, no, exactly. The Marine Corps, seven.
Marines just hitch rides with the Navy. That's what they do.
Right.
And I say that as my grandfather was a retired Marine, so it's lots of back and forth. Love it.
Yeah, we see that the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps, all three of you guys. Hold on, sorry, I didn't swallow that water wrong. All three of you guys like to get yourself. No, it's not that. All three of you guys like to get yourself wrapped up in bad spots and bad intel and all that, and the next thing you know, it's too hot, and you just say, "Hey, airmen, come save our butts," and we come in there with that CAS mission and clear the path for you. And, it is what it is.
Well, I can tell you,
yeah. I mean, how can you have the airborne without the Air Force? What airplanes you jumping out of, cuz?
We got to bring back the Army Air Corps. That's what we have to do. All right.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that the old original logo is pretty sick. The Heritage logo, the Hap Arnold logo is pretty sick. My favorite.
Well, I'll tell you, there's no friendlier sight than when you're taking fire than hearing that whine of an A-10.
Oh, I bet. It's a cool airplane.
Yes, it is.
It's a cool airplane.
And little history is that the Air Force tried to mothball it and get rid of it. And the Army said, if you do, we're going to start flying again.
Yeah, I mean, the Air Force has been trying to get rid of it a bunch. It is a pain to maintain. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but yeah.
Yeah, that's right, Zach. It keeps us MPs busy.
Yeah. Gives the MPs something to do on the weekend.
Yeah.
Step up, cuz. It's been hot so far. Get hot with us.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's cool. So, first Gulf War, you did some contracting time. When, at what point did you get into fishing, or was that like a lifelong?
Well, it's been a lifelong thing. I mean, the person who started me fishing was actually my mother. We used to go down and fish on the banks of the Chattahoochee River there in Columbus, Georgia, when I was 4 or 5 years old. And then my uncle, Tim Shirley, was a professional angler early on with BASS. He fished the Redman Circuit and was a guide on Lake Eufaula in Alabama. And he's the one that got me the interest. I would see him come back from guide days or tournaments or whatnot back when they would actually keep the fish. And he was pulling bass after bass after bass out of the live well. And I was like, how do you do that? And what are you using? And he started showing me some stuff when I was young. And unfortunately, I didn't get to pick his brain as long as I wanted. He passed away in 2007, but he's definitely the one that got my interest going in bass fishing. My first venture into competitive side was when I came back from Germany in 92. I joined the Fort Polk Bassmasters there, giving a shout out to those guys in Louisiana, and kind of cut my teeth fishing with those guys there, Sam Rayburn, Toledo Bend.
Awesome.
Austin, do you see a comment or something that?
I've been reading the comments. I'm sorry. I'm listening. I'm paying attention. I promise, but the comments are getting me. I knew Bobby was going to say that when he said, "I'm going to stay quiet in the done." I knew it was coming. Yeah. You didn't give birth to the Air Force. Just all the aircraft guys were like, "Hey, why are we running around with these goofballs? We can start our own thing." I'm just playing.
When'd you what was your first tournament experience? You remember where it was?
Yeah, it was on Toledo Bend. It was in 92. I'd been out, I rented a boat from the military wreck there on Toledo Bend. I'd actually been fishing all night. I came in that morning, and a couple of guys I knew from, the unit I was in was actually going out to fish a wreck tournament there that morning. And they said, "Hey, why don't you, they saw what I had caught that night, and they said, why don't you, if you can do that again during the day, you probably make some money." So I just literally turned the boat around and went back out and fished all day. Probably not the best idea in the world, but I was a lot younger than I am today, so it wasn't quite as hard as you'd think. But that's how I started. I was by myself. I think it was the second time I'd ever been on that lake in my life, and it was fun. Of course, I didn't win any money, but just that's really how I got the bug. And through the folks that I met that day is how I got introduced to the fishing club there on Fort Polk.
Awesome.
Cool.
So
that's a little bit about you. You want to talk about the state of North Carolina, or do you have something else, Austin?
No, we talk about North Carolina. Like I said, he posted the schedule up. As I said earlier, first one's going to be on Lake Tillery, February 1st.
So what is Lake Tillery? What type of fishery is that? It's
largemouth primarily. I know there's some spot in there. I don't know that I've ever caught any spotted bass out of it, but I know there's some. It's probably going to be, I say it's going to be a tough tournament. For me, that's been a stingy lake, but it's one we hadn't fished yet. But I know that gets fished quite often by a lot of different anglers. So I was trying to throw some other lakes in the mix that are still kind of within that central location of the state. It's part of the PD River chain. It's actually south of Baden, but Baden, there's a river that comes into just south of Baden that makes it the PD River. I'd say for ones that I'm used to, it's fairly shallow. But I'd say, come January, it's probably going to be main lake points and offshore fishing is what it's probably going to be. We're going to go to Jordan on the 22nd of February. Jordan is largemouth. I don't think I've ever caught anything other than a largemouth out of there. For those that are in North Carolina, could be on, let me know if I'm wrong, but it's a big fish producing lake. And MLF, and I know they're not part of us, but that's who made the three lakes around Raleigh and Durham famous, was when Major League Fishing came there the first time.
Yeah, for that heavy hitters event, and they hit all three at the same time. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Jordan was the first lake I fished when I came to North Carolina, and they were actually doing heavy hitters the 1 year that year. And the first 6 places I thought looked good to go fish, there were MLF guys sitting there. So I was like, I must be selecting correctly. My timing was off.
Is that the lake you see when you're flying into the airport?
Well, in which airport?
The Raleigh, I think it's
Raleigh Durham.
No, that's probably Falls more than likely.
All right. It looks pretty, whatever it is, it looks pretty big. Every time I fly in there, I'm like, man, I want to fish that.
Well, I mean, I've seen the big jets come across Jordan at times, but I see them more when I'm on Falls Lake than I do on Jordan.
Yeah.
After Jordan, 15th March, we're going to go back to Baden Lake. Baden's also primary largemouth. I know there's some spotted bass in there. This one ought to be a shootout. We're fishing it a little later in the year than we have. It's been both years now, even when it was colder than you'd want it to be. It was shallow water. I mean, throwing up 6 inches and pulling out with running bait. So I'm suspecting it's going to be a similar type tournament that time or this time. April 5th, we're going to go to Lake Gaston. I know nothing about this lake. I know it's been in past. It's been a good largemouth fishery. I think the Carolina Bass just fished a championship or something up there, and it was 21 pounds, took first place. So it's still producing some good fish. But I'm going to be learning this year for this one. We're going to go to Norman.
Goes up in Virginia a little bit, huh?
Yeah, it's on the border.
Yeah.
So, Dave, any of your guys interested, man, tell them to come on.
Yeah, definitely.
May 17th, we're going to go to Lake Norman. Back, still going to go out of same access. Norman's primarily spotted bass. I mean, there's largemouth there, but I know Austin's fished it a few times. You got to weed through the little ones to get that good bite.
That's a fact. There's plenty of.
At that time in May, I tell you, it's probably going to be, especially first thing in the morning, just goes throwing top water and seeing if you can't get that, at least a good spot bite out of that one. 21st of June, we're going to go to Falls Lake. I fished this one several times. I caught some good fish out of Falls. It's a little later in the year than we did, a lot later in the year this year than last year. But it's still a shallow bite. I fished with another group last year in July, and I know a lot of fish were caught, most offshore, but there were still fish up shallow in July when it was hot. So who knows what'll win it, whether it's going to be a offshore bite or a shallow bite at that time in June. And then the next week, we're going to finish it out on High Rock. And High Rock is another one that I've not been on yet. Lots of tournaments go out of there. A lot of good fish. I see a lot of big weights come out of there, especially in the June time frame. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
That looks like it's that's up north too, right?
It's up north of Charlotte. It's on the same river chain as Baden and Tillery.
Yeah.
You guys got a lot of lakes in that state.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I know we got a lot of anglers that probably far west, and then we've got, our Marine and Navy brethren way out to the east. There's a river chain there to the east that I thought about. We may try to work that in next year, but this was the best I could come up with, trying to facilitate for everybody and keeping it somewhat centralized. So, those that think from North Carolina that are on, if you think, my gosh, it'll take me 2 hours to drive to these lakes. Well, they're in the closest one of them all for me is an hour and 40-minute drive. So yeah, I feel your pain, but I'll be at every one of them. Come join us. We want to grow this thing and keep making it bigger and better.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if we
Um,
can get the boats too, I mean, with us doing that payout scale of 100% based off the $100, I mean,
yeah.
it's you get
Big
main
monies.
pod entry fee. Let me see. I'll do a breakdown real quick on that. Just off that $100, we pay one in every 5 places.
Yeah.
So based on if we get 20 boats, you're talking $1,000 to first place. I mean, I would try, and that's not including big fish. Usually, if you win, you get big fish anyways.
Right. $20 big fish adds up quick. Well,
Yeah.
I know up
Yeah.
there up north, y'all kind of do the split lunker deal, but down here
Yeah.
we don't really do that. I don't know if you've been doing that, John. We don't have fish to split it with.
We just
On
big
Hartwell,
fish.
maybe. Some of the true spotted and largemouth lakes where either one could have a big, you could run it.
I mean, you're
but
talking, you win with big fish, talking $1,400 to drive in, an hour and a half, 2 hours.
with 20
That's the average
boats
ride to
for
my lakes up here.
$120.
Well,
Yeah.
Not only did I go to all the ones we had up here, but I went and fished about half of what Austin had last year too.
Yeah,
Just
he
try
came down for a bunch of ours.
try to
Absolutely.
get on the water a little more. I'm not going to say anything about the Santee Cooper. He doesn't like me.
Yeah, it's not my favorite place either right now. Yeah, I don't know. We'll hold our tongues on Santee Cooper.
I know it's a great lake, but it was not it was not nice to me last year at all.
Me either. It hasn't been nice to a lot of people the past few years, all the grass spraying and whatnot. But
Are they still doing it? I remember you said that when I met you down there.
yeah, in the budget last year, it was $500,000 of the budget was going to grass and carp, spray and chemicals and carp for Santee Cooper.
Man.
For the aquatic species. What is it? Invasive aquatic species rehabilitation program. $500,000 went to chemicals to go in the water, and I think 20 of that $500,000, 20,000 of it was carp. Sorry, I didn't want to get off on that. Yeah, it's still frustrating, and you share it on Facebook like, hey, they want us to come talk. They want input. South Carolina DNR wants input. Nobody gives the input. It is what it is. All my South Carolina guys, if that comes up again this year, I'm going to share it like crazy. It breaks down everything they do for invasive species treatment across the entire state. If I share that, help me out. I hate chemicals in the water. I hate that.
Yeah, I don't like that either. And I've seen in other places what the grass spraying and the putting the grass carp in there does to the fishery, and it's not pretty.
Yeah, you can't get in Santee Cooper anymore and go less than 2 feet, and there not be 100 carp sitting up in a little flat and ruin everything. Because when you get up shallow, and then 20 of them skirt across this shallow spawning flat that you had a bed fish in, and well, now you don't. She gone now.
I don't know what we hooked into when we were down there. We were fishing just like isolated clumps of the cypress trees, kind of near the main lake.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben threw his drop shot right up alongside the tree, and he hooked into something, man. And his whole rod just, I don't know if it was a massive carp. I don't know what else you guys have in the lakes down there.
That could have been a 10-pound bass. That could have been a carp, a catfish, a mudfish, a turtle. I mean, there's.
What do you call them? A pickerel?
A pickerel, yeah, or they call them jackfish down here.
Jackfish, yeah.
Jackfish.
I caught one that was over 5 when I was down there last year.
There's some monsters. They showed up on Murray really good this year. Towards the end of the year, a lot of people, for some reason, were catching pickerel like crazy. Everybody going shallow was struggling with pickerels. I didn't even think about that. Could have been a big old gator. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me seeing that stuff down south. We obviously don't have that up here, but when I was going into some of these areas, you just see like gators pop up and they're just kind of floating on the top of the water. I'm like, oh man, please don't. And you guys have kayakers that I could see like all the belly slides and stuff going off the banks, and this kayakers just going right along the bank. I'm like, no way.
I've got a crazy story about kayaking with alligators, but that's a long story. I'll tell it later. But
You guys have gators in North Carolina?
So there's a few. I used to be the facilities director for a small university here where I live, and we know there's some smaller ones there. There was actually a baby gator caught off the bridge that crosses the little lake on the campus. So where there's a little one, there's normally a bigger one, but I never saw the bigger one. But yes, they are in North Carolina, just not as prevalent like at Santee.
Yeah.
yeah, frogs in the pads, and oh man, it's so frustrating. The baby gators, that's the ones you gotta worry about when their heads like that big, and they just come out of nowhere and chase your stuff. It's frustrating.
Yeah, and if Mama's around, she doesn't like that.
No, no, not at all.
Melissa, I would believe that one for sure. Seeing them in Fayetteville.
Vietnam, even
Yeah.
the gators are strapped up there, cuz.
They need to be.
Sorry
for those in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
So what's the event that you think is going to pull the biggest weight on your schedule?
Ooh, can we take bets and write it down?
Yeah.
Not real
So
bets. We're not real betting, but guesstimations.
I'd say Jordan.
Jordan?
Yeah. I've seen tournament
We need to do
results coming out of Jordan that's 30 plus pounds for the winter.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it'll produce some big fish. I don't know that I've seen a double digit come out of or heard of a double digit coming out, but I've heard of some 8.5, 9 pounders being caught pretty regularly out of Jordan. And, I've had pretty good success where, on just a practice day or just go out fishing where my best 5 would have gone 20 easy.
No, I just typed that all wrong. Lake. I'm curious now. Lake. You said Jordan, right?
It's Jordan Lake.
Jordan Lake.
If you type in Lake Jordan, you're probably going to go to Alabama.
All right. Noted.
I'm calling. You're saying Lake Jordan? Are we putting numbers on this? I think we should do
All
this
right,
with all the directors. That would be fun.
I have it right here. I have the record-holding bass caught in Jordan Lake in North Carolina. What do you think it is?
You're talking
Record?
about state record bass.
Right. Yeah.
State record or record for Jordan?
Record for Jordan.
Oh,
Jordan.
Probably 12.
13.71.
14.6.
Oh, it's better than I
That's a
thought.
big bass.
That's a
That
big
is
That's
bass.
a big bass.
Giant. I would cry. I have a heart attack.
I want to find it.
All
It
right.
says the average largemouth bass at Jordan Lake weighs over 6 pounds. Is that true? Or is this just a Google AI kind of?
That's probably a Google AI thing.
Yeah. The
I'd say
average fish?
on an average,
An average Jordan
1.5, 2
largemouth
pounds average, easy.
can weigh over 6 pounds.
Like I said, it's easy. It's not a hard thing to have a 20 plus pound day with 5 fish out of Jordan.
Yeah.
And falls, I've seen the same. But I think you asked which lake's going to produce the biggest stringer this year. I think it's going to be Jordan.
Yeah. You good, Austin?
I think it's going to be false.
You could be correct. We'll see.
Let's do this. Let's do this. All right. All right. We're going to play a game. You have to
Melissa was
guess
cheating on that. Get up.
which lake it is. And you have to guess an over-under that one of the other people set. This is a new game. We're creating this. All right. We're gonna do this with all the directors, with all the schedules. I'm gonna write it down on a priority mail stamp, and we're gonna stick it right here and track it for the year. All right, you ready? So you said Jordan, John. Oh, the camera's backwards. John over here. You said
Yes.
Jordan. What's your how you want to do it, Nick? We set the over under, and then you take the over or the under. So like the over or under would be 20 pounds on Jordan or not, right? So I don't know the point of this, but it just sounded cool in my head. Let's just take the lake. This is too complicated now.
I don't know the lakes at all down there.
I don't either. I'm just guessing. I just said Falls because he said Jordan. I probably would have said Jordan if he didn't, just because I
Let's
watched the
see.
MLF
February, March. Your spawn's what? Probably March, right? April, March, April.
Tends to be March,
Mhm.
April, but they'll start moving up much earlier, especially depending on the weather. I mean, like I said, Baden, we fished Baden the first year, beginning of February. We fished it the same last year, and the winners on that lake both years were fishing dirt shallow.
I'm saying Gaston. I don't know Gaston at all, but it's April. It should be around the spawn, I think, maybe.
Yep, I'm taking. You're saying Gaston?
Yeah. John's laughing. It's probably a lake known for like tiny little spots or something.
No, Gaston produces some good fish. I've seen,
Y'all are losing to me. I can tell you that. I'm gonna talk crap. Falls Lake, 21st of June. Full moon shad spawn. Come on, 25 pounds. Calling it.
All right.
I'd say Jordan, and I'm going to say it's going to take at least 21, 22 pounds to win it.
Jordan in February.
Bill's
tough to
chiming
compete with.
Bill's chiming in.
Norman?
It can.
I mean, so Norman was in my head. I'm not gonna lie. May 15th, May 17th in Norman was in my head. But there's so many small spots in Norman. I mean, Hartwell's bad, but Norman's way worse. Like, I don't know. Under. What are you
Under
taking
on which
under
one?
on, Dave? We didn't even set the over under. Man. All right, so are we sticking with just the lakes? Or are we
Yeah.
gonna do weights? I'm gonna make this a game. I'm gonna figure out how to make this a game, and it makes sense, but it's gonna be a game we play.
All right.
We're gonna make bets. We're gonna be betting on the no real money. This is just bragging rights.
I'm going to say Gaston for 18 pounds.
18 pounds.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the lakes at all. I'm just pulling something out of
That would be a good number at Gaston, from what I've
18.
seen.
I'm going Falls 22.
Bingo card.
Oh, shoot. The Sunday SITREP bingo card. Nick hit his over under.
Yeah.
Stay up.
Yeah, but which lake, David?
Oh, Dave's saying 25.
He said under 25, but he didn't say what lake.
Dang. Shane's up there in the Virginia area, too.
Yeah.
He's saying Gaston 23.
Like I said, I've seen some decent 25 on Norman. You've had the day of a lifetime, David.
Oh, I didn't know they were doing F1s. I thought they were just doing those in Kerr. I think it's Kerr.
What are the F1s? I don't even know what that is.
They're the hybrids. Between a northern strain and a Florida strain largemouth bass. They took them like a long time, and they made they genetically modified the fish over time to make the F1 hybrid bass, which I'm speaking kind of ignorantly on this. I've done a little bit of research on it, so I don't know for a fact, but basically they took the best batches of northern strain and the best batches of Florida strain, to where the northern strain's aggressiveness and abilities to withstand cold temps versus the Florida strain's ability to grow and eat a lot of food and shape, and made the F1 tiger bass. I did hear a podcast where a biologist was speaking way out against it, because I guess that first generation, the F1, if you will, is they grow rapidly. Like they can grow, I think they said in like 4 or 5 years, you've got 8-pounders. Like they grow really quick. But then generation 2 gets washed out a little bit. And then generation 3. So then eventually, like something to do with they'll typically take to the northern strain. Like the following generations will become more washed with the northern strain, which then you have a bunch of little bitty aggressive fish all over your lake, and then it just ends up like a bunch of spotted bass essentially. I mean, they're not spotted bass, but they act similar.
Right.
Just aggressive small fish and overpopulated, and there's 1,000,001 12-inch fish. And trying to catch the big ones is hard because they're competing with all these little fish.
But so we got Jeff in Kentucky chiming in. Jordan, over 20.
Okay.
And we got Dave Gaston under 25.
I think that's a safe bet, but
oh, feel bad for you.
Yeah.
And Dave, I don't know what you mean by you fixed the Bass Pro Shop tournament, but did you fix the weights?
I don't know what he means.
Oh, fished. He said fished.
Oh, tracking.
Right. I was going to say, confession time.
I was about to say that was probably not what he wanted to post.
Yeah. Anybody in the Virginia area want to run a state director next year? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, Dave. What was your weight, John, for Jordan?
2 years ago, I had we cut the tournament short at 11 o'clock, and I had 16.5 pounds.
No. I mean, like, what is your guess?
Oh, I said it's going to be 21, 22.
So you're taking 21 or 22, or you're going to say over 21 or under 22? Or
we can say over 20.
Over 20. All right, that's what I put for me. Over 20. So you're going to say 18 or over, or 18 or under, Nick?
I'm going to say under 20.
Oh, you're going to change yours to under 20? I think that's a good way to do it. All right. Now I lost track of it. So we're just going to have to... I don't even know how to win this now because we all pick different lakes and different things. So I guess it's just like hey, you hit your mark. But this is the weights I wrote down. So John took Jordan for greater than 20. Nick took Gaston less than 20. And I took Falls greater than 20. Shad Spawn, baby. White frogs.
I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to do this with all the schedules, though.
I think you're going to be a little off on your shad spawn, Austin, because the last 3 years, the shad spawn here has been in April.
In April?
Mm-hmm.
You have shads? I mean, yeah. I'm not disagreeing with that. But shad should still be continuing to spawn all the way through June or July. Like down here, our heavy shad spawn is May through July. Actually, some of the better shad spawn days I've had have been in that full moon right there, that blood moon or strawberry moon. I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing. I'm going to stick it up there somewhere later. But that full moon at the end of June or beginning of July every year has always been my favorite shad spawn moon. I don't know why. They eat. It's wild.
I haven't seen it happening up here that late.
Huh. That's weird. Get on them floating docks.
Shane saying April and Gaston.
Yeah.
Oh. See, attention to detail. I messed up that April 5th. But I'll dive in. What's the moon?
Doug, we it's been tonight's been the Illinois night. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I see.
We need a director. So just if you know anybody, yourself or anybody, just have them message the page and we'll get the ball rolling. Josh chiming in from Louisiana. Night fishing in June to August catches way.
Oh, he's right about that.
Oh yeah, imagine. I mean, can you even physically handle fishing in the daytime, June to August?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I was dying, man, down in Tennessee.
Mhm.
Well,
yeah. There's a couple days it was hot leading up to it.
It was hot.
Sure. Yeah,
So-
the mornings were a little chilly.
next time you have the Louisiana director on, ask him about the love bugs.
The love bugs.
The love bugs.
Love
Sounds
bugs.
like a
That
loaded
Texas
question.
thing.
It's a Louisiana, Texas thing. And they just show up out of nowhere and you're flying down the lake at 60 plus miles an hour. You better hope you got good glasses on.
Mm.
Josh, you're chiming in right now. What do you know about him? I don't know if Zach's still in here.
I don't know if he is. At 8 a.m. you're in your drawers. Yeah, no kidding.
What'd he say?
Oh, you got green in March, Jeff? Depending on what day in March, I might have to come. I like Green River. It's a fun lake, especially in March. I know a couple hammers. I don't know if he's watching, but a guy named old Mark Hall, if he gets his partner in, he's a police officer and Navy veteran. If he gets his partner in, you might have some competition down there, Jeff Finley. I'm excited. I hope Kentucky takes off good so I can go. I can go fish, and I'll let Jeff keep doing the thing. I'll just go fish. I'm gonna show up and let my Copenhagen hang out, lit my hang out, and just hey, what up, Bo? I'm back home.
Zach talking about the love bugs. Middle of a run.
What
That
up?
sounds terrible.
Like a physical run?
Yeah, he's
Watching?
a runner.
Ah, not me. I don't have to do that in the Air Force.
They use
I'm just-
stationary bicycles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. We do have to run it. I don't like it. Love bugs. Y'all got me this all thinking about them.
So
It's a
it
dangerous
is
Google search.
it is a primarily Louisiana kind of East Texas thing, but those things when they show up in the summer, they're nasty.
What are they,
But
like a cicada?
why are they called
something?
love bugs?
Because
I've seen those before. We get them in Kentucky too.
when you see them, they're attached to one another. That's why they call them love bugs.
See, I never seen that part, but these. Oh no, maybe we don't get these. These do look good.
Are they big?
Not really,
No.
but they're swarms.
Interesting.
If you drive around East Texas and Louisiana that time of year, you need to wash your vehicle every day.
My goodness, no, we don't get those. We get some bugs that look kind of similar to. I don't know if you'll be able to see my mouse, but like these right here, we haven't seen them stuck together like that, but they're just annoying. And all.
Well,
over
you
the
see
place.
that bumper on that one car up there.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize what that was. I didn't even.
Josh said they're a science experiment gone wrong. They were meant for mosquito control.
That sounds like some Louisiana, Texas stuff. I love it.
I love
That's why I
Ladybug.
love the love bug. Dang. Man,
Yeah.
y'all got me. I'm about to dive down a conspiracy theory rabbit hole tonight. Thank y'all. I'm gonna be up till 2 a.m. trying to figure out if ladybugs are made in China and love bugs are to
They
eat.
came with COVID.
Yeah, my goodness. No,
Well, hey,
I'm
if
just
you
messing
guys,
with y'all. I'm being serious.
you
But
guys
I ain't
from
upset
like
with you.
Virginia, South Carolina, or any of the surrounding states, if you know people in North Carolina that are interested in fishing, or if you guys want to go
Absolutely.
fish some of the events, show up or get in touch with John.
I'll say
He'll give you all the details and fill you in on everything.
you can
We'd
either
love to
reach
have
out to me on the North Carolina page on Facebook, or my email is posted on the website. Please contact me.
Absolutely. It seems like you've been getting a lot of messages in and out. That's good news. I'm really, really hoping. Any South Carolina guys with me too down here. If you guys know anybody up in that North Carolina region, and even some of you North Georgia boys that kind of run that tri-state area up there, and little, not really tri-state, but I mean maybe I'm sure there is, but I know that's a drive from northern Georgia, northwestern South Carolina, and western North Carolina. Some of those lakes, but definitely worth it for the brotherhood for sure. For sure. You got anything else you want to touch on? We're approaching an hour. Well, we've already hit an hour. We divested pretty good there on them love bugs. It is what it is. Hey, it's fun. We don't have a script here.
Exactly.
We're just BSing and hanging out. That's what it's all about.
No, I'll say it again. Got the North Carolina page on Facebook. My email is posted with my bio on the Armed Forces Fishing League page. Please reach out. Share my information with people. I mean, I'm
Absolutely.
even willing, send me an email. I'll shoot you my phone number and we get on the phone and talk. I mean, I spend a lot of time traveling for work, but I'm always open to, having a conversation with someone in the evening once I'm done for the day.
Absolutely.
Good deal.
Absolutely.
And I am going to throw one thing out, and I forgot the name of the tournament, but for those of you in the area, I listened a couple of weeks ago. Hank Cherry's the sponsor for that tournament this weekend on Hickory Lake.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up.
I'm going to that Saturday. I will be fishing. Don't think I'm going to put anybody in danger, but I'm going to go participate and spread the word, for us, and everything about the veteran. I'm about it.
Amen to that. Yeah, if y'all aren't, make sure y'all jump on. If y'all are wanting to get involved in that tournament, make sure y'all jump onto Hank Cherry's Facebook page. You can hit me up. If I can't find you the answer off the rip, I will get you the answer. If you're interested in that. I wish I could make it to that. I got to go to my cousin's graduation. I'm pretty excited for that, but for her college graduation, she's the first one besides my aunt and uncle to graduate on my family, so we're all pretty proud of her for that.
Awesome.
And she's graduating super early. It was like, I want to go to both, but I kind of got to go to this one over that. But
I'd love to make it. My boat's winterized and my driveway's all snow and ice. So
shoot, I'll tell you what, I'll drive up to North Carolina. I'll drop my boat off. You just boot scoot and boogie the 17 hours down to North Carolina, and you can have it, bud. No, I'm just kidding. I know that'd be a tough on you for sure. But well, anything else you want to touch on, John, before we get you out of here?
No, I'm good. Thank you. And appreciate it, helping get the word out.
Absolutely, brother. That's what this is all about. Growing this thing as big as we can, getting as many people as big as we can with the right people.
Yeah,
I want to emphasize that. Kind of like, I mean, I don't really want 50 boats if 49 of them are a bunch of clowns and jokers and want to start a bunch of drama. I'd rather have 20 boats and everybody be the right fellas. But
that's it.
Grow it big in heart, I guess, is what I'm looking for. The right guys, the right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
But I hope people look past. They say it's a hour and a half drive or whatever. Just building that brotherhood, getting you connected to other veterans and like-minded people. If you're struggling with anything, these are the people that you want to be around. These are the guys that understand what you went through. That's what it's all about right there. So make the drive. It's worth it. I promise you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that. There's a song. some country song. I can't remember what it is, how it goes, but it says something about make the call. You know, you never know what they're going through. Make the call, make the drive. You never know how you might impact somebody's life that day.
Yeah.
I can tell you, there's been a handful of. I'm not gonna sit here and name names of who they are and what their story is, but there's been a handful of people that have been impacted in pretty solid ways to across their lives through this so far. I'm not sitting there trying to boast by any means on what the organization is doing, but that is what the point is. That's what it's all about, is
For
people
sure.
being impacted in a positive way, and that's happening, and we're happy with that. So make that drive. You might be, who knows, you might be the guy that needs it. You don't even realize it, and that seed just needs to be sown that day. Somebody
That's
might
it.
say something to you that you might not recognize in that moment, but in a couple months you might. Just speaking
And not
from
only that,
experience,
but
be that guy.
we have a good network. If we don't know the resources off the top of our head to get you help in whatever way you need help, we know people that can.
Mm-hmm.
So just talk to your directors. Talk to other people that are fishing the events. It really is such a solid group of guys, and we witnessed it down in Tennessee.
Yeah, it was.
That
made every piece of hard work we've gone through.
It was so worth it, man.
So worth it. Yeah. Makes me want to work even harder to grow it more. So that can continue to happen. That place, that was such a fun time, man. Tennessee was a blast.
Absolutely was.
Oh, show.
But that's it. Get in touch with John if you're interested in joining the organization. He's the man if you're in North Carolina.
Absolutely. Let me look at our giveaways real quick. We got 12 in here. If y'all have not, I'm going to kick John out in just 1 second. We're going to say our goodbyes. But if you have not, go ahead and like, share, and comment hashtag #SITREP for your chance to win the going away. We'll give y'all a few more minutes while we talk about our going away or our upcoming events real quick. But John, you got anything else? This is the last call.
No, sir. That's it for today. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us, man.
Right.
Thanks for the hard work and dedication you put in to this organization, for your state, and beyond that, just helping us out with everything you've helped us out with as well. We appreciate it, man. Without all the directors and the work we all put in, it could never be what it is today, for sure. Continuing to grow, constant. What do they say? Sustained superior performance. And that's an Air Force term. It's whack, but it is what it is. Cool. All right. I probably shouldn't have said that, but it is what it is. We'll see you later, John.
All right. Everybody have a great week.
All right. See you, man. Bye. All right. Before I get myself in trouble, we're going to wrap this thing up pretty quick here. You got anything else you want to hammer on before upcoming events, Nick?
No, I can't think of anything right now.
I can't think of either. I mean, that was a fun conversation. I mean, we didn't really dive into anything crazy, just chatting. I love it. I like just chatting around, getting the guys engaged in the comments and stuff. Got a couple more flowing in, and we'll get ready to do the giveaway here. Right before we do that, a couple of the only upcoming event we got is 14 December on Cross Lake. We talked about it earlier. Make sure y'all are diving over there if you're in the Louisiana, Texas area, and that is for Low McFarland American Legion post number 14. 85% payout. That's going. All that extra money is going over to the Legion to help those guys out. And Zach, if you're still in here, make sure you get some cool pictures. I want to see this Legion.
Yeah, me too.
Like the stories and the things we've heard about it. The fact that it has a boat ramp on the lake and everything. Like, I'm really curious. I wish I could drive all the way down there to jump in it, but I will be right outside Kentucky Lake in Murray, Kentucky. But yeah, let's switch over here. We got 14 real quick. Hopefully everybody's had time to get their stuff in there. And for the giveaway, guys, please, if you're not following our YouTube, jump over there and follow our YouTube maybe next week or the following or whenever. Jump over it and watch us on the YouTube live, just to help us build our algorithm and bring people in through that haven't heard of us yet, please. But yeah, let's go ahead and do this. You got anything before I pull this trigger here, Nick?
No, we're good. Sorry.
Good deal. Here we go. Tom Fulmer. Good deal, Tom. I think he won back in. Let me look. Make sure he's not. I set the monthly thing. What was the thing? He won back in October. Okay. Good deal. Tom Fulmer. That's one of my South Carolina anglers here. Very devoted guy. Tom, if you're still watching, I don't know if I still have the messages with your shirt size. I think we ended up we'll figure something out on that end. And I'll get you the barbecue as well. I'll have to run up there to Columbia and hook you up, Tom. So congrats to Tom there. That's all I got, Nick. I don't really have any closing points other than our devotional. Do you have anything before we start into the devotional piece to finish it up?
No, I'm good. Thank you guys for listening in and watching. Like Austin mentioned, just go ahead and subscribe if you don't mind. It helps us out, and it'll keep you up to date when new videos come out. Other than that, we look forward to seeing you on the water.
Absolutely. Our devotional today, I did not put it up here, is out of the book of 1 Corinthians 10:13, and I didn't put on there, but it is NLT New Living Translation. So it might read a little different if you read King James or NIV or what's the one that you read, Nick? NA. Or are you in NLT today?
Yeah.
Okay, easy money. Well, cool. So, 1 Corinthians chapter 10:13. The temptations in your life are no different from what others experience, and God is faithful. He will not allow the temptation to be more than you can stand. When you are tempted, he will show you a way out so that you can endure. One of the key things to that, I think, is the reason I wanted to bring this up today is we're all tempted. And he tells you it's no different from what others are tempted in. It might be in different manners, different ways, and temptations are more than just I want to go lick this ice cream, or like me right now, I'm trying to quit dipping. I haven't had a dip since I left church today. I would love to throw a fat lip of Copenhagen straight in right now. My mouth is watering thinking about it. That's a temptation. That's what we think of as temptations. And those are temptations, but I believe temptations are more than that sometimes. Strains on your life, financial strains, relationship problems, whatever it is that's going on in your life if you're in life's in turmoil right now, or a car wreck, could be a temptation, right? Those might not necessarily be temptations directly, but those lead you to temptations, right? When you stub your toe, that doesn't seem like a temptation, but that makes you want to throw a bunch of cuss words out, or why'd you do that? Why'd you put that 2x4 there? And the reason I say all that is look at your life and look at the big picture. And look at the things that cause us to stumble onto our temptations and follow through with them. And usually there's a reason before the temptation. But the thing is, the temptation, he says specifically, he will not allow the temptation to be more than you can stand. And you think back to Job. Right, the book of Job. If you haven't read the book of Job, it's a really good book. You should read it. A man that lost literally everything overnight because Satan wanted to tempt somebody, and God said, "This is the most righteous man on earth right now. Take everything he has, and he won't he won't bail. He'll be mine, and he'll stay mine. No matter what you try to put up against him, Job will never denounce me and take up your way. And he didn't. And the enemy took a lot of things and tried to beat him down and beat him down and beat him down. And he maintained faith for God. And that's what he's saying right there. God knew in the book of Job, God knew that Job could handle all of that. So he allowed the enemy to tempt him to that point. God knows that you can handle whatever is coming to you. God trusts you to handle that. God trusts you to turn to him in those temptations so that it can mature you in your faith, in your life, whatever it is that he's trying to work in you, and you might not see it right now. And that's kind of like what I was talking about in the a while back about, to make that drive to these tournaments, because you might not know it right now, but it might be you that needs to hear that word. It might be, I need to go to that tournament so that Nick can hear, or Nick can walk up to me and be like, hey, what's up, man? I needed to go to the military ABA on Santee Cooper back in 2021, and so did Nick, just so that we could be like parked next to each other on accident and be like, hey, what's up? That's a cool aluminum boat. And then look at where we're at a couple years later. That's how we met. That's our story to start. Just two guys fishing with aluminum boats and then ran into each other by accident. That every little thing he does in your life is for a reason. And when those temptations seem overbearing or seem like, man, why is this happening in my life? Why are you, a lot of things I've heard a lot of people say, why are you doing this to me? He's not doing it to you. He's allowing it to be done to you from the enemy so that you can mature. But he does it to a point to where you think you can't handle it, but he tells you right here you can. Just take that as trust. He trusts you, and trust that he has a reason, and believe that his reason is far better than you can ever imagine right now. Far better than you can ever imagine. I just recently listened to a pastor talk about how he was up in Syracuse, New York, and he was feeding orphans on the streets through his ministry. And they were going to parks to feed these orphans, inner city kids and downtown Syracuse. And they were feeding, a couple hundred a day. And then the mayor found out, and the mayor said, well, you're using the city parks to do this. You owe me a permits. And he had so many, he had grown this mission to a point where it was going to cost him $800-900 a month, or maybe a week, I think is what he said, to feed these orphans for these permits that the mayor said he had to do. He said, I ain't doing that. He said, that's crazy. So he went to an auction. One of his lawyers or somehow somebody in his ministry had brought up the fact that there was an auction to sell off land coming up within the city limits. So he went to the auction. He bought a piece of land for $50. He went in there with $800, something along those lines, and less than 1,000. And he walked out with 15 properties in Syracuse. And he continued to go to those auctions to a point where he had over 70 little street corners and things across the city of Syracuse feeding orphans.
Wow.
All because of, right, the $800 permits. That in the mind at that time was, these $800 permits, this mayor's crazy, man. You're going to make me pay $800 a week to feed these kids that need to be fed? Like, we're doing a good thing here. What are you attacking me for? But that was God getting him to make the move to the auctions to buy this land. Later down the road, in one of those auctions, the state police armory went up for sale. They ended up buying it for dirt cheap. I don't remember the dollar sign. They sold half their properties in the city of New York bought that armory, used that as their staging place, and then the city of New York tax office or police, somebody in the police is now leasing it on the top floor from the state of New York and is funding their entire ministry through their leasing of that building. They don't require donations to feed over 2,000 kids a day in Syracuse, New York, over $800 permits. So that's what I'm saying. These temptations, these things that come up against our life they seem so bad right now, no matter what it is. Seems like it's world ending sometimes. Trust me, I know. But there's a reason. And he knows you can handle it. So take it as trust that he's trusting in you, and trust back in him. And let that process play out, and your whole life will change. Your view, he will transcend peace upon you that I don't even understand. I don't think a lot of people understand. I know Nick's been through some things. A lot of you have probably been through some things. I know we only got 5 people on here right now, but thank you guys for staying on and listening to this. But there's things that all of us have been through that seemed world ending. And I can tell you, he can transcend peace into your life, that you'll be going through that world ending thing with this in your hand as your armor of God and your sword. If you get in Ephesians chapter 6, the word of God is your sword, your weapon, and you fight through that pain by turning to him in these temptations instead of turning to the temptations. He'll give you peace better than, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I can tell you there was a point, I won't say when, how long, none of that, but there was a point in my life when I thought my whole world was over. Somehow I walked through it. Still am. With peace. Not every day. Some days are hard, some days are good, some days are really bad. But most of the time, 90% of the time, is good. Because of this book, because of prayer. That's all I got. Sorry, Nick, that got really deep. I was not trying to go that way and that deep. But none of that's BS. I promise you guys, that's all real. That all just came straight from my heart. I did not mean to go that deep. I'm sorry, guys. I kept y'all a little longer than I meant to. But you got anything to add to that, Nick?
I don't think I can add to that.
I know you've done it too, man. I know you get what I'm saying, and I'm sure
for sure.
The few of you that stayed, thank you guys, and I'm sure that you probably, some of y'all might understand. And if you don't, I'm not joking. I'm not like commanders in the military. I've got an open door policy. Like I do. I'm not a commander in the military. I'm Austin Kitterman. You can come and talk to me. I don't care if it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't care what time it is. If you have questions on any of this, if you want to talk about God, you want to talk about this book, I don't care if you don't understand a sentence. Call me. Get a hold of me on Facebook Messenger. Sometimes I'm hard to get a hold of. I know that. But call me, leave me a voicemail, send me a text message. Hey, I need to talk to you about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Roger that, sir, and let's talk. Like, dead serious. Anytime, anywhere.
For sure. If you need to talk at all about
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, honestly. Anything. Anything. Even if you don't think you need this. Talk to me. I'm not going to sit there and say, you have to do this and that and that and that. A lot of people that I've talked to, I'm sure they'll tell you, like, I'm not going to sit there and pound this down your throat. I'm going to throw scripture at you if you need scripture. But I'm going to do it all based off scripture, not off what Austin thinks, what Austin knows or whatever. And I'm going to talk to you about scripture. And hey, this is what it says, man. Discern it for yourself. But That's all I got. What you got, Nick?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, y'all have a blessed week, please. And remember, just go out there and have fun when it gets back to fishing. When that time comes, have fun. Stay fishing.
Sure.
It'd be fun. You got, well, I guess let's end it up. It's not just a tournament. It's a brotherhood.